No idea whatsoever. Hey Dojo, hey Lynn.
Hello.
Welcome, revision.
Hello, people in the hall.
To a morning glory, whatever that means. I have no idea about young people's lingo.
Do you think we should look up terms we put into the timetable before we use them?
No.
Okay. Then we will continue not to.
So, we are back on the red couch, kind of. It's a different couch. It's similarly red.
It's a very cozy, different couch, though. Yeah? Yep. So, holy crap, the sun is shining. Lynn, you already played a DJ set outside, didn't you?
Yeah, it was nice. Just like a little wake-up thing. There was nothing else to do. Everyone was still asleep.
Yeah. So, speaking of asleep, anyone want a coffee?
I'd like to.
You want one? Alrighty. Would you like the green pill or the brown pill?
Green, please.
If I ask like that, nobody's going to want the brown pill. So I guess let's wake everybody up with the soothing sounds of coffee.
I'm not sure how much of that comes through, but it looks good already. Yeah, anyway, it's already Sunday, which is a bit sad.
Yes, but also good.
I mean, I feel like it should be Tuesday next week.
I need the week between the end of revision and next Tuesday to recover, so I would not miss that time.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But still, like, us being here on a Sunday means that we already had an awesome milk, sugar?
Milk, please.
That we already had 1.5 awesome days of revision, and holy crap, what days they were.
Yeah. Who wants to recap something?
Lynn wants
Who
to recap
remembers
something.
something from Friday?
You want to recap something, I guess?
It's gonna be even more awesome, I think, is the next part. Like, the last days are always the best.
Yeah, they're full of excitement and wonder. Ah. Blah.
Ah.
Okay.
This one doesn't. Yes.
Okay.
We are. There you go.
Okay, we're figuring out the microphone situation.
No. Works now.
There you go. All right.
Here
There we go.
We're professionals, by the way.
All of us, yeah.
We know how to do this. So,
Yeah, we're
recap.
Recap. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to like the next day and a half. It's always the best part, I think. Like, it's all the, like, all the build up, all the hype, and then it absolutely explodes tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Though, I mean, things exploded yesterday already, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
I mean, Hoffman, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just to name, like, the highlight.
Yeah, that was fucking sick.
I was proper wicked. I mean, I haven't seen this place so packed. I haven't seen this place as packed in 4 years.
Yeah, I think all of us experienced that.
Yeah.
No, it's still a lot of people here, and that makes me happy. And yeah, it works out. It feels like we didn't really leave for 3-4 years. It just feels like always.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Just like always.
Yeah.
We were having horror fantasies of just people not turning up at all, or
Well, I actually dreamt about this. Like everything is built up. It's a recurring dream I have since we're doing revision. It's like there's 3 different variations. One is it's revision we built up. Nobody shows up. We're just alone in the hall, which is like the most current iteration of my dream. The other one is it's revision. Everybody's here, but we are not ready.
Oh.
And the third one is revision is over and I missed it.
Oh.
I don't know how that happens, but it's not a fun one.
Yeah.
So the third one, that's actually what happens, isn't it? Like after revision, eventually it's over. Everybody goes home. We pack everything up. We die for like 3 days, and
If
then
we're
we miss
lucky.
it.
It's like Jesus. He also died for 3 days.
Oh, so we're like the seen messiahs. No, that's odd. They already claimed the title, so can take it from them.
It's okay, we established organizing revision is a bit like Christianity. I don't know.
Yeah, let's not go there.
No, let's not.
Let's get back to the recap, I guess.
Yeah, what do I remember? I remember very good Amiga intro compo last night.
Yes, there were quite a few. Holy crap! Yes, there were quite a few entries there that made me think, how did they put all this in 64K on an Amiga? I have no idea how they did it. Then again, I don't know Amiga very well. I only have 2.
I very unfortunately missed most of it because I just kind of crashed out.
Ooh.
So I'm just gonna watch them later. I have an Amiga with me, so
Oh yeah, there you go.
no problem.
You can even watch them on the real machine. Otherwise, I heard that they're already on YouTube.
True.
So yeah, Amiga intro. Then we had an old school
Amiga
demo,
intro.
which was shorter than I expected. Or
Yeah, I
not-
was also like, I was expecting at least one like 10-minute long C64 demo, but I think everyone's holding out for X.
Oh yeah, that's
is-
very possible. Yeah.
It's gonna be later this year, and I've seen people run around the hall with their X20, I don't know, 18, 19 T-shirts, the ones with the pink X on it. I'm still jealous of people for having that T-shirt. It's such a beautiful T-shirt.
Yeah, I think
And-
that was 2018.
18, all right. And I keep thinking, wow, yeah, that must be one of those days I got to visit X. That's where all the cool old school stuff happens. I guess Viskid's also going to be there.
Sounds like it.
X was actually like my first demo party, like back
Is
in
that
2006. Yeah,
Oh.
I barely knew what the scene was, but I just packed up my stuff and went there, and then experienced total culture shock, and I've not been the same since, but in the best possible way.
Yeah, absolutely. It was probably like my first revision, 2012. That was like I learned about the term life-changing revelation-like experience, which is actually a term in some psychological analysis thingamabob. Revision 2012, right there.
So yeah, I always forget that you haven't been at the first one.
Come again?
I always forget that you haven't been at the first revision.
I have not.
That is a shame.
Correct.
It's
Yeah,
shameful,
I-
though. Just shameful.
I wanted to. I wanted to go to Breakpoint when that was a thing, but I never mustered the courage to go there all by my own, and I didn't have people to join me there.
I mean,
Yeah, you're still a noob in terms of that kind of, like only in the scene for 15 years or something.
Yeah, that's true. I'm like pretty newbie-ish.
Yeah.
I guess only made like 3 demos, so not a lot to show for my name.
Yeah. Well, we can help you with that.
Well, what can you do?
Yeah.
And
Somebody's
now that I see
approaching.
LJ passed me by. LJ, you're not our first guest.
Hello.
Good
We wanted to
morning.
wanted to talk to Rocco first, but now that you're here on stage, why don't you join us and Rocco too?
Yeah, come on. There should be ample
We've got
space.
plenty of space here.
Good morning, Revision.
Good morning, LJ.
So LJ, meteoric win. That must feel good, does it?
Hello, Rocco.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
LJ,
Well-
would you like a coffee?
No, thanks. I already have a tea for me.
All right.
Everybody's already
Oh,
said.
yeah.
No, I was asking, like, winning a meteoric. How does it feel?
The same as yesterday. It felt great.
I mean, you already said something in your acceptance speech that it's like the culmination of all your whole journey. Like 8 years ago, you sat at the newbie table here, and now you are on the big stage, winning the big trophy. That's pretty cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm gonna win myself one of those at some point.
That was you. Toot, toot. Mine works.
Ba-
Ding. So, Rocco, welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, how have you been the past couple of years?
Well, that makes it. That's. I was thinking about that a lot, and I was actually tuned out for demo scene entirely. I think after 2020, I was actually before. I was talking to people before coming to Revision this year. I was working on my streaming music entry, and then I was looking back to see past compo entries. And I was going back into the archives, and then I saw 2019 as like the last IRL edition. And then,
Holy.
I mean, it's been talked about a lot, right? But then it really hit me how long ago it's been. And I respect so much how all the parties tried to keep the same vibe going and worked around the limitations. But for me, there's just, it doesn't, and I think for a lot of people, it doesn't beat the real thing. So it's really nice to be back again. I'm so happy to see everyone in the hallways. I didn't even get a chance to see you, LJ. Congratulations on your Meteorics award.
Thanks. Nice to see you too.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, I think you're right. A lot of people felt like that. I mean, I myself we only did revision,
Yeah.
and that was like, I wouldn't say it's not done in a hurry. It's still work to do it online. But apart from revision, I tuned out everything, focused on family, dogs, and stuff like that.
Right.
Some vacation, some work, and it was like, and I think that at least for me, this timeout, if you can call it that, was is making this so much more special than if we would have just continued to do this. So that's, I think, one of the positive things that came out of a global pandemic that we had.
And I guess I just realized part of I got the feeling that this revision edition is going way more smoothly than it should.
Don't jinx it.
Come again?
Don't jinx it. It's
Oh
just
no,
Sunday.
no, we're gonna be fine. But it's I just realized just doing this online stuff at least kind of got us in. It kept us in the swing, right? We still kept the practice.
That's true. I think that helps a lot. Just
Yeah.
like, I mean, we could have just been like, nah, we're just going to do nothing for 3 years. Or we could have even the first time been like, well, you know, skipping 1 year won't be so bad, but nobody knew how long it was going to take.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm glad we kept it up that whole time.
And that's also the scene spirit, like not having a demo party at all. That's just not an option because we're like this big family that needs to or wants to see each other every now and then. And even if it's just like a glorified Zoom meeting, right?
Yeah, and I mean, we all love working around limitations, so.
Yes. So there's a challenge. Let's rise to it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. A question to the three of you. Since Dojo and myself, we only saw revision online from the inside. How did it work for you? Did you like watch everything, or just tuned in once in a while to watch some combos? Or how did you experience it?
It was the most comfortable revision experience I ever had because the bathroom was just about 5 steps away. I had a private kitchen. I had a shower. It was no, but in all seriousness, it was really interesting to see it translate to like a live stream only setting, and I think it worked out really well. I think it's. I can imagine it could have been quite the puzzle if you guys, for example, had no experience prior with live streaming. But thankfully, like since you have been so vividly archiving everything and trying to put it live online, thankfully you guys already had some experience under your belt. But it was nice. It was really good to see. I think you did a great job.
Thank you. LJ, what about you?
Well, to be honest, like the first online revision, I was really hyped, like everybody, I think. But later on, like the longer we stayed apart, I felt like the more I really missed like the physical connection, especially like when you release something, like seeing it on the big screen is just like very, very different, even if you have a big screen at home.
And the big sound system.
Yeah, nothing beats that. Yeah, that's true.
And it's also, I think, sorry to interject, but one of the things that I've really noticed is when you walk around here, like, for example, when I saw Evil perform in the Shader Showdown, I wanted to share a story of like some of my non-demo scene friends being exposed to his shaders and like being absolutely blown away. And then seeing someone that you want to talk to and say, oh, I really like what you do, and just getting that opportunity to have random encounters, you don't get that online. I think that was the thing I missed the most, just being able to physically approach people and just randomly see people pop up. It's like, oh, I haven't talked to that person yet.
Yeah,
So now that you have this again, what's it like?
It's great. It's 2 weeks before the party, I was like, the whole logistics shit, you know, I want to book a hotel, but I don't have enough money, and I have to sleep on a sleeping bag, and 5-hour drive, and
All this effort.
Oh, no effort. But then 2 weeks before the party, I was like envisioning just physically walking around and greeting everyone, and I had I was looking back, I think I've been going to demo parties for 8 years now, and I'd forgotten how many people I've actually gotten to know over that time. And just reliving that again, it really put into perspective like how much this scene means to me. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And did it work out that way? Like, are you meeting new people and old friends and all?
I met Evil for the first time today, and yeah, a couple of new people, but mostly, you know, you sort of find a spot at a table with people you know, but then you have neighbors that you maybe get to know. Although
Yeah.
I've been, I've had a tradition where I've had the same neighbor, I think, for the past 4 revisions that I've been to, and it always seems to be coincidental. So that's a lot
funny.
of fun.
Yeah, that's one of the things about like in person that's so much fun, is like walking around, talking to people, also seeing what kind of hardware people bring. I just found that, you know, you bring a cool computer and people will come up and talk to you, be like, hey, what you got here? Oh, this looks cool, you know, like that's something I definitely miss, just like walking around, seeing what people are working on and doing. And yeah, it's the organic kind of, you know, like just contact. Maybe that's a bad phrase to use, but...
Yeah, but I know what you mean. I really love the random encounters. It's what I would call them. Like, I like to hang around in the toilet tunnel from time to time. Just stand there for 10, 15 minutes, and you start with 2 people, and a couple of minutes later, it's a crowd of 10 people sharing drinks and telling stories, and sometimes there's music spontaneously, and yeah, it's just fun. And if you want to meet somebody, you just have to stay in the tunnel for a bit. They will come.
I have a question for you guys, actually, especially you, D.Fox, because
Wait, that's not the way we work here, buddy.
Allow me to interject, please. No, because like one of the tough things about being an organizer for an event is in a way, you sort of have to sacrifice fully participating in the event because you have so much responsibilities. How have you been handling that for the past couple of years? Have you felt like you've had to sacrifice a lot just to keep the party going?
I wouldn't call it sacrifice. It's just the way it is. I mean, I am organizing Easter parties since the first breakpoint. I was a compo orga back then, and I think the last Easter party I visited, like as a visitor, was Mecca Symposium 2002. So it's been 21 years. But yeah, I think it would be cool to visit an Easter party, like just for myself. I can just, that's why I need your feedback, all of you, because we just have this different view on things. And I think we talked about this in the behind the scenes yesterday. There are so many things that you are not aware of, and that's good, because we hide them from you, because we want you to have a great experience and like a bug-free party, which it is not, but we try to at least give you the illusion of that.
I mean, it wouldn't be the same if everything went 100% perfect.
Exactly, it would be boring.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely,
not
it would be, yeah.
Yeah, Dojo, how about you? You have been a revision visitor,
I have
visitor,
been a revisitor for a few years.
and an organizer and a host and whatever, everything almost at revision.
Yeah, I've gone down this slippery slope.
Oh, buddy, the hole is deep.
Oh yeah, but it's so slippery because it's so much fun, actually. Like I'm really happy I got to experience quite a few revisions as mostly a visitor, and then just slowly made my way into taking on more responsibilities. So it's a lot of fun to experience when you don't have any duties at all, and the only duties are to yourself and perhaps your release.
I like that it didn't mention partner or family in there.
Again?
I like that you didn't mention partner or family there with your responsibilities, only yourself and your release.
That wasn't a thing back then, you know.
Okay. But I know what you mean. It's just, I would probably said the same.
But I mean, my words to the first revision I visited in 2012, I visited with a couple friends. We were driving in my car, and then after revision, we took off from the evac. And I said to my friends, okay, so now the one thing I have to figure out is how do I tell my parents they're never going to see me at Easter again? Because before that, it was a family tradition that I would be at my parents' place over Easter. Since revision 2012, that is no longer the case. And that's what I mean by life-changing revelation-like experience. That completely changed. I wouldn't say completely changed my life, but it's been a pretty big turning point.
Yeah, I don't think I really did anything with family during Easter anymore for years already before going to my first Easter party in 2007. And yeah, it just became like the yearly tradition. This is just where I belong on Easter.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world.
Same.
Yeah, and it's like, essentially it is having Easter with your family.
Exactly.
It's just like the other family.
It's Easter with your alcoholic family.
Yes, alcoholic and smelly family.
Yes, I was actually very thankful that my parents don't even question it anymore. Like, will you be at Easter this year? Like, no, going back Germany again? Yeah. And they just, I've tried to explain what I'm doing, and they just go, and then we move on because they just don't understand.
I mean, like the first Easter party I did, I was 17, and like my mom even sponsored me a little bit financially because she just realized how important it was for me to go.
Yeah.
So I don't think she really, at that point or any time after, expected me to be home during Easter.
Yeah, my parents don't ask anymore.
No.
LJ, how did you get to come here? Or what was your first party? Was it Revision?
Yes, it was actually Revision 2015, and I came here all on my own. I followed the scene for quite a few years, and always, well, not always, but sometimes watched the streams and was like super hyped, and was like, yeah, next year I should really go there. But like it was quite far away, and since I had like no active connections to the scene, it was quite intimidating, you know, like doing such a long trip and then not exactly knowing what you expect, because like the stream and the presentation is different from how the actual party might feel. But well, at some point I just said, F it, I want to really hang out with these people. I think it's a great community and I want to know them. So I drove there. And it was a lot different actually than I expected it to be, because I had very, very weird ideas in hindsight of like how the scene would work and what kind of people I would find there. But well, I'm still here, so I guess it's the right kind of people I found.
Sounds like it, definitely. Yeah,
Did
and I think Revision can be a very scary place for first time visitors. I would always suggest newbies to go to a smaller party first, get the vibe and the energy, because Revision is a scary place.
Yeah, I can definitely say like my first like big party was Breakpoint 2007. I had been to a smaller party before too, even, and it was still like a massive shock. Just like walking into the hall and seeing all these rows of tables, all these people, and just being like, you know, had to stop and take it in for a moment. It can really be incredibly intimidating.
And overwhelming.
Overwhelming,
Like
yeah. I think that's the better word to use.
All this input.
Yeah.
But it's got my favorite, I think it's to this day my favorite Revision moment. That was when, I don't know what it was, to 12, 13, 14, not sure. Must have been one of the early ones for me. I came from the outside and I came back into the hall through these curtains, and for some reason the light was out, there was a demo show, there was numbers playing on the screen with its beautiful music, and for some reason somebody was blowing soap bubbles into the air, and I was walking through this curtain of soap bubbles into this hall with this beautiful music and these mesmerizing visuals on the screen. And I literally stepped into a different world that had nothing at all to do with all the stuff I knew from work and from home, and I was in a fairy tale in that moment, and that was a defining moment of Revision for me.
It's a surreal moment.
Absolutely, completely surreal.
I do think that what you guys are saying about like going to a smaller party first, that's how I did it. I was also following the scene, although I didn't even know about demo scene that much. I knew it existed from being involved with chiptune, but had no idea how it actually worked. I would see demos and I was like, what is this all about? What are all these people that are listed in this? There's so many of them. And then I remember going to Outline in the Netherlands and being really, really nervous, like watching videos and seeing archive footage from the competitions and the award shows and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is a very serious competitive event. And then I would get there and people were just getting shit-faced and like camping and playing volleyball and putting up their tents and barbecuing. And I was like, oh, I can get into this. But it's like, also with Revision, we have a couple of friends that they're not even very familiar with demo scene. But they tagged along just because we kept talking about the social aspect of the party as well. And every competition we sit together and I have to sort of give them disclaimers like, if I talk too much during the competition, just tell me to shut the fuck up. But yada yada, so and this tracker is made for that, and it's interesting because so and so, and it's all sort of knowledge that accumulated over both parties, big and small. And it's like you said, it can be really intimidating coming in here as your first party. But thankfully, there's always people that are just willing to explain what the fuck is going on. So
Yeah.
that's really nice.
And that's why, I mean, that's essentially why we have our newbie program and also the guided tours. And apart from that, you can always just ask the next person sitting next to you.
Exactly. I mean, lots of people are very happy to talk to you if you walk up to them and go like, hey, you know, you got cool Amiga here. You know, what's this about? You know, like, I mean, yeah, not everyone is going to be like that. You know, like if you see someone very focused working, you know, like maybe that's not the right time. But yeah, I've always felt generally like people are really approachable and just want to share in the thing that they care about.
Absolutely. Everyone just wants to shout. Wants to let you know why they're shouting Amiga.
Exactly.
And it's
Amiga.
There they are.
Amiga.
Atmega.
Now everybody's awake again.
Atmega's where it's at. And I also found like the best way to get to know people in the demo scene is to essentially push the nerd buttons. And
Yeah.
the easiest nerd button to push always is after the compo, just walk up to people and tell them that you like their prod.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that will instantly push the nerd button and you will engage in meaningful, interesting technical conversation with them, and they will love to tell you all about them and then about themselves and then ask you, and you will have gained a new friend.
Yeah, I still remember like one of the first things that I released there at Revision, that afterwards people came up to me like, Lynn, what the heck was that? Like, how did you do that? Like, I just didn't think anyone would care, honestly, but you know, people really do.
Yeah.
How was that for you, LJ? Because you were sort of like were blowing people away like really early on. Could have been pretty overwhelming for you just getting responses from everyone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that was also like basically the result of my first revision visit, which was a bit tough to be honest. But that was like a self-made misery, I guess, because as we all acknowledge, like it's really intimidating to come here as your first party because it's so huge, so many people, and even though this is such a big party, you still feel like everybody knows each other, which, I mean, to some degree we do after quite a while, like, but yeah, it was very difficult for me to connect in the first place, and I can only agree that like having a release or like doing something at the party is like the best opener ever. Like to open conversations with somebody, just ask like what they're doing, like if they brought something. But I was like really, really shy. So it was a difficult time. I didn't really talk to a lot of people. But what I did do is actually compete in the Shader Showdown. Because I figured like, yeah, I know shaders, so I can try that. Well, turns out I know shaders in a completely different context, and I failed on stage miserably at my first Shader Showdown.
Oh, yeah.
But even that, even though it was like a completely non-exciting performance for everybody who saw it, it gave people an approach to like talk to me. And that was great. So like it took the burden off of me to like approach people. And it wasn't after like for the next revision basically where I came back, because it would have been like difficult to say if I would have come back if I hadn't made any connections, if I just came to the party but like not really talked to anyone and didn't do anything. But my own pride told me like, you have to come back. You have to show these people you actually know shaders. Like you, and I did. And
Yes.
when I actually showed people that I can do shaders, that was that opened a lot of doors in regards to like being approached by people, and I managed to like get to know a lot of cool people that way.
I think that's a really important point. Like, if you just participate in the competitions, like, if you do it enough times, people will see your name return. They might not know who you are, but they see your name, and it might just stick with a couple of people, and you only need one or two people to be introduced to a whole bunch more. So like, as long as you just keep participating, be involved, just give people like compliments like, hey, I really enjoyed what you're doing, or I want to know more of how you did it. That's the easiest way to just get to know people.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where smaller parties are so much more comfortable, because you have like not a million people to talk to, but just some groups of people, and it's much easier, at least in my experience, to get into a good conversation.
Absolutely.
I also feel that, like, because a lot of people are shy to submit their first production, because they'll watch the compos and they see all these like productions that are super high quality, and it's like, I can't live up to that. You know, I have to be just as good as, you know, TBL or Fairlight, and
At least.
yeah, and it's not necessarily a realistic goal, but what I have personally found is that release something and you will immediately learn so much from it, just from like seeing it on the big screen yourself, seeing how people react to it and everything. It doesn't have to be perfect. You have to just start, and then it's a lot easier after that.
Dojo, do you remember your first release?
Yes, that was the noise plug. I vividly remember that.
And I remember that even, and I didn't even know you, but the release stuck in my head. There was the
Yeah,
3.5 millimeter thing.
yeah, like
it was an
this.
Evoke Wild release, was it?
Evoke 2013, I think it must have been. And yeah, it was like a small RCA plug with a teeny tiny microcontroller inside, and that played a chiptune. And we literally recorded the presentation video at the party. It was real demo party experience. I spent half the party in the hotel room coding the friggin' prod, debugging it with an oscilloscope. And then eventually it worked, and we did this LFT style presentation. And thank you again, LFT, for showing me that you can make a demo scene prod with hackerspace things. And yeah, that's actually turned out earning me a third place, and I got lucky that my head did not literally explode, but
Für Evoke reicht's. No, I really remember this thing. Like years later, I think I asked you this question. I don't know when or where. And I was like, that was you, because I remember the noise plug. This was really cool, really cool
and
project.
we actually, that Evoke, we talked, like Cooper introduced us, and because Cooper and I wanted to do this DJ set, and we were aiming for revision, and you were like, who is this guy? I don't know, asking me to do something at revision. How about we do this at Tome?
Exactly, and I told you send me your mixtape. Your mixtape.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I was like, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Genug für Tum.
Yeah, doesn't suck. Accept it.
Doesn't suck, exactly. Yeah. I'm remembering Madame wasn't that into it, but she got around it. Yeah, it was good.
She came around.
Yeah. So Lynn, your first release, do you remember it?
My first what?
Your first release.
My first release. Unfortunately, I remember it. I would like to forget. It's still on Puet with 5 thumb downs, and
Oh.
that's it.
That stings.
I didn't know anything about the scene. I just made something in C64 Basic, and it was insane garbage. And I think they shut it off during the compo at X halfway through, and then everybody booed, and they had to start it over, which was just worse. And I wanted
so
to die.
fucking mean.
Oh god.
I
goodness.
just like I think it's best if we all forget about that one.
I like how we're talking about how welcoming the scene is. This
No.
sounds like a
I mean,
genuine nightmare scenario.
No, people were booing the Orgas for cutting off the demo, but
I
I was
misunderstood.
actually grateful because seeing it on the screen made me realize, okay, you know, as I said, like your first demo is always a learning experience, and probably yours will be a lot less bad than mine.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
fair.
that.
Well, I mean, we already released our first demos, so I guess we can't rise to that challenge anymore. We've got someone else waiting who also released their first demo, and second and third, but who we also would like to talk about newcomer experiences with. And for that, I need to shoo one of you off stage. I'm sorry, Rocco.
Thanks for having me on here. I enjoyed
Thanks.
this.
Thanks
It's
for
a
being
lot
here.
of fun.
Thanks a lot for being here.
No
It was
problem.
a lot of fun. I'll see you around the party. Sure. And we've got a relative newbie waiting in the rafters, and that's Ninja Koala of Epoch. Ninja Koala, can I interest you in a nice mug of coffee? Huh? All right.
Welcome.
Hey.
So,
So,
Hi.
tell us a bit about yourself.
What?
Tell us a bit about yourself.
yeah, I'm a Ninja Koala, and I think my first demo party was Evoke 2015, and for a long time we didn't release anything because we thought we're not good enough and stuff like that, and but then when the pandemic came, we thought we need a project. And then we started doing our compression linker, and then the first real life demo party afterwards, we released our first entry.
Nice. Yeah, that was at Deadline, wasn't it?
Yeah, deadline 2021, I think.
Must have been, yeah. And that ended up earning you a new talent award.
Yeah,
So
that was
Not-
nice.
Not bad at
Yeah.
all.
so that too is a way to get to know people, I guess.
Yeah, before we released something, we are shy and we didn't really connect with anyone. But since we are releasing, it's much easier to get in touch with people.
Yeah. So how did you experience your first demo parties, and how were you kind of received by people?
Yeah, I've followed the demo scene online before a bit, but yeah, it's different to be there in person, so you don't really know what to expect before, and yeah, so it's there are a lot of memes, people screaming Amiga and stuff that, and yeah, it's you really get the sense it's this is a community where everybody knows each other and stuff like that, and that might also be a bit intimidating at first because you think everybody knows each other, but I know nobody and stuff like that.
It feels very hard to kind of get into. Did either either of the two of you kind of take part in the newbie program we have here at the Revision? Do you have any experience with that?
No, like like this is our first revision. We've been at Evoke before, but we didn't participate in any newbie program there. I don't know if they have like a newbie table. I don't know. I don't know.
What about you, LJ?
Well, yeah, I did. I think I actually participated in the very first newbie table that was like when it was introduced in 2015. But
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
I'm
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that. Let's say it doesn't do as much as like would be. It's just like you really have to get over yourself to get introduced in the scene. I think that's for me at least, that was like the big key thing. You need to talk to people. And that's it. Like I mean, it's not just in the demo scene; it's everywhere, right? Like you need to connect with the people. If you don't, then well, you won't connect with people. So the newbie program helped in regards to, I know there is a place for me, kinda, because like it's pretty difficult to find a place if you come late to the party as well. But also, you have this like dedicated area. You know, okay, it takes some insecurities out of the experience. And I mean, yeah, you get like the technical introduction, which is great too. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the idea is not to push the newcomers into anything or force you to interact with people, but the mentors are there to help you if you want to interact, or if you want help of a specific topic, or like just get to know people. I think that's what the main idea is, and not just force you to do something. Don't you remember Mountain Bites, which was like 6 weeks ago, and they had an interesting take on the newcomer thing, because they had a newcomer workshop.
Oh, right.
Where they got to know some techniques, some demo tools, and in the end, after 3 days, they were able to present their first productions. And I really, really liked that, because the workshop aspect, I think it was a 3-4 hour workshop. On the first day, they actually got to code or pixel or do something. So 3 days later, they had something to show for. That was a really, really cool thing they did. And yeah, I really like that. Would that have helped you? What do you think? Or would it be too much, maybe?
Like, I don't know. Maybe it would have helped. I don't know. But yeah,
For me, I think it would have to some degree, because like when I got really into the scene was like the party after, where like I think it was at Nordlicht, where Virgil picked me up and never let go, kinda. And we worked on releases ever since, basically.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that we should kind of make clear here is like, because everybody, like we're all saying like, yeah, bring a release, talk about, like do stuff, and sure, we want people to do stuff, right? But I think the scene has to offer, like you don't have to come to the scene and be like somebody who releases something at every party or whatever. There's a lot of other aspects that make the scene great.
Yeah, I agree. At first, I think the first couple of years, I never went without a release. And then at some point, I was visiting too many parties to have something ready each time. And then, well, university finished, job started, so there was only visiting for a lot of years. And yeah, and then I think, yeah, but as we discussed already, I think you have to release something to get into it, like a bit more. Or you can start with organizing. I mean, that's a lot of people started their first demo scene experience by being an organizer at smaller parties, bigger parties. That was, yeah, that was also pretty cool to get into. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to getting involved in any way possible,
Yeah.
kind of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Like with you and Outline, right?
Oh yeah, I think like after my first outline experience that you made me have, thank you for that.
Always happy to.
Yeah, that's when I started also organizing it outline and enjoyed it a lot. It made think made the party better for everyone and for me as well, and it was great.
So we have 5 minutes left. Dojo, should we talk about what we can expect from the rest of the day or the party?
We can do that. Yeah, we're gonna, in 7 minutes, we're gonna start with the first compo block. And speaking of compos,
Oh my God.
we are fucking drowning in entries.
So yeah, I mean,
Holy crap.
prepare for a long day, a long night, and a very hard morning tomorrow. If you want to see everything, it's going to be tough. So
Don't expect to sleep.
no. we
gonna be full.
were discussing like going from the last combo block directly into prize giving. It's not that bad, but it's a lot of stuff. We never had this many entries at any revision. Obviously, a lot of them had to be, not a lot of them, but for quite a few combos we have the pre-selection system, so not every entry will be shown. Otherwise, we would be here a day longer, I think, because there's just too many things. But yeah, you can be prepared for a long compo night. And we have some music later in the evening.
We'll have Luguber with visual support by Koopa.
Yep, more shaders on screen. I don't think we have it. We have no traditional VJ this year. I think it's all shaders. Is it? It's all almost always
think-
live. Yeah.
I think Mad Tix actually
okay.
had his own VJ
Yeah.
stuff.
But it's pretty cool to see the shader community and to come together and help everybody out with great visuals.
Speaking of which, that's something I wanted to tell y'all last night already. The first DJ after the compo block that we had that was blasting you out there with techno. You remember when, during the online revisions, like starting 2 years ago, there was suddenly this guy on Twitch who was just streaming a DJ set outside in front of the E-Werk, and we started restreaming it, and he gained like 400 visitors that day. And then he did it again the next year, and that's the gentleman who played here last night, and I'm so happy he came here.
And it was really, really cool to see like 3 years ago, like, okay, I'm in the EVAC, can you maybe, I don't know, want to post about it? I mean, obviously, you're the closest thing we have as a connection to the EVAC that we can get. And yeah, it's really cool that Matix could play here.
Yes.
Like, first time that we're back here. Yeah, what else do we have? I have no idea.
Lynn, why would you like to take over and explain the day to us in rough detail? Like, what else do we have? Because you've got the timetable.
What else
here.
do we have? Well, you already mentioned the first compo block coming up. There's even more compo blocks. There's like still several music compos. There's some graphics compos. There's the wild compo, which is one of my favorites personally.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
I heard we are...
It's gonna be wild.
It's gonna be wild.
We've got, oh goodness, we've got a huge pile of entries there.
I'm very looking forward to that. Yeah, yeah, a bunch of other compos. Of course, like all the big PC compos, and of course, Amiga.
Amiga.
And then, of course, after all the compos end, there will still be people to entertain you on the second stage.
Oh, yes.
We've got Messi and Dritta.
We've got
Oh no, Messi and Dritta
we
was
got
yesterday.
like
Yeah,
a Ghost and Bot, I think.
Psychon
Yeah.
and Ghost. Yeah.
Ghost and and Bot and Psychon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, stock up on coffee and food and everything.
Yeah.
It's going to be a ride. And yeah, I want to address something that was brought to my attention from Friday. People were complaining that I was swearing too much. during the opening. Not sure if you remember. And all I can say is, it's none of your fucking business. I can swear if I want to. Anyway, yeah, I think we have to stop here. The first compo block is coming up in a couple of minutes.
Yep.
Thank you again, LJ, Ninja Koala, and Rocco for being our guests. Lynn, thank you for being here this year as a host. I really love that this
Much
worked out
appreciated.
as it did. And yeah, and everybody enjoy what's to come.
Yes. And we are going to start with the first compo block in like pretty much now-ish. And you can expect the executable music competition, streaming music, if I remember correctly. And I think it was modern graphics.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
correct.
All right, so
You have good memory.
Let's
I've
go
got good
revision.
memory for like a minute, and then it's all gone.
So we need to unpack or get away these
Okay,
sofas.
we need to kick
Anyway,
stuff up,
enjoy.
and then enjoy the compos.